Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, let me see who was here first. Oh, wait, let me do this. Aha, there we go. Okay, and let's see, Francia Mosley, you were here first. Thank you so much for that. Um, what is that? It's 8:53 a.m. Tuesday morning. Wow. Well, okay, very cool. And let's see who else is here. Joyce Anderson, Lydia Washington, Edna Terrain. Uh, who else is here? Teresa McDougall, Annie Bullard, Jan Martin. Nice. Marcia Ware, Lottie. Hey, Lottie. And Kenitha Ash. Fancy, Teresa. Okay, I'm starting to repeat myself, so I'm just going to scroll and scroll all the way to the last person to come in. Okay. All right. Elaine Parker, what are you doing up at this hour? Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Lydia wants to say hi to a few people. Hey, BS, Claudia Sims, Yellow Rose Tea. All right. Okay. Very good. All right. So let's get on with it, shall we? So part 3 has dropped, huh? Maybe about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. Part 3 is finally here. And let me tell you, it's a doozy. It really speaks to the way it gives you the mechanics of how things were done. So I pre-recorded it, to make sure that it's very thorough and easy to understand. So I pre-recorded it, and well, anyway, let's go through a couple things first. So here it is. Martin Branning, his first victim. Let me see. In the third part of a 3-year special investigation, Byline Times details the trauma of a man controlled for 10 years by Martin Manning. Oh my goodness. The pseudonym of TV presenter Dan Wootton. So they're just saying it. They're just, again, it's not without risk that they are coming out and saying this, but they are just laying it out there on the line. This is probably one of the more compelling headlines I've ever seen come out of the British media since the Daily Mail accused the killers of Lawrence. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. What is his name? Was it? No, not Tim Lawrence. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. Stephen Lawrence. There you go. Stephen Lawrence. Thank you. Why am I thinking myself? Okay, Stephen Lawrence. It finally came to me. All right. So, yeah. So that's got to be quite compelling, shocking, actually. Let me see. Pauline Bergio. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so yeah, compelling. Now, obviously, as they say, he is fit to be tied. Dan Wootton, I have to tell you guys, out of curiosity, I had to see exactly what his disposition was today for his trashy little show on GB News. Well, he was true to form. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't know that anything has happened. I don't believe he made any reference to it, but he was his usual cocky, arrogant, manipulative, pain in the neck self. And of course, in order to bolster his image, he had some of his usual suspects, including Lady C. He had his usual suspects on the show just to give the impression of normality, to show, I guess, strength and resolve. He decided, well, the best thing to do is to pretend like nothing has happened. And so far, the fact that he's still on television and that he has not been suspended, I'm going to just say, so far, nothing has happened. With the possibility, I'm still not convinced that there's any investigation going on, but with the possibility that there is some type of investigation. Otherwise, nothing has happened. Okay. Oh, all right. Is that for me or no? Oh, okay. All right, let me do this. Okay. All right, got it. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so far, I don't think anything has happened. So let me see what slide is coming up next. Okay, yeah. Why don't I do this, you guys? I'm gonna go ahead and play the audio for the video. Let's hope it goes okay. Now, some of the language and the content is strong, so to be forewarned is to be forearmed. I'll just say that some of the content is rather, but we'll see how it goes, and we'll discuss it on the other side. Okay, let me find it first. Is that it? No. I tell you, I really have to be more organized. Okay, so that's not it. Let me do this by order of creation. Of the date created. Nope, that's not it. All right, let me try that. Man, and I meant to be at my most efficient today, and it is not working out for me. Okay. Is that it? Nope. Okay. One second, you guys. I just got to figure out where I stashed it here. Okay. Aha. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where it is. But I did do it. And give me a second here. I promise you. Is that it? Nope, that ain't it. Lord have mercy. Okay, give me a second, you guys. Date added? Nope. Okay, let me try it over here. Oh, I know what I can do. Hold on a second. I got this. It's Martin Branning, right? Let me try searching that. I believe that is what I called it. If you are listening for the first time, yes, this happens every time. Okay, I found it. Martin Branning blackmailed the partner of a Murdoch journalist into making a covert sex video later found hidden behind the washing machine of GB News star Dan Wootton, Byline Times can reveal. Branning unmasked last week by this newspaper as an online alias used by Wootton, threatened to send sexual material compromising the partner to their family, employers, and Facebook friends if they did not cooperate.
The resulting film was later discovered on a black hard drive in a padlocked holdall in Wootton's East London home by his former boyfriend Alex Truby, whose tweets on the 12th of July about the discovery have now been viewed around 17 million times. Wootton has since used his primetime nightly GB news show to attack Mr. Truby's account as an untrue story, claiming to be a target of a smear campaign by nefarious players and denying criminal behavior, but not to being or being connected to Branning. Today, however, in the third part of a 3-year special investigation into Wootton's private and professional conduct, the victim forced to make the video reveals how Branning drove him to the brink of suicide with a 10-year campaign of anonymous coercion. The partner, a man whose identity Byline Times is protecting, but who says that he will give evidence to the Metropolitan Police, said, "The fallout from this went on for years. I literally quit my London life. I lost everything. I went into the depths of depression. I definitely considered suicide. I didn't want to be around anymore. I blame myself for the whole situation. I am only coming to terms with it now. Now I want to get it sorted out." The courier would come with a video camera. The victim revealed how Branning started sending him emails, some of which this newspaper is publishing for the first time today, shortly after the man, through his partner, met Wootton at a London members club in 2008 and continued until 2018. The Branning emails claimed to be from a go-between on behalf of an unnamed but interested third party, offering the man, whom Wootton knew at the time was in financial trouble, up to £5,000 a week for modeling and other work. In an email on the 26th of June 2008, Branning wrote, "I had your email and a couple of pics of you passed along to me because I heard you might be interested in making some extra cash through the sort of modeling and other work I've got on offer. Don't know if the person mentioned it to you, but I'd be really keen to chat with you further. All completely confidential, of course." Quizzed by the man, who asked Branning who had shared his details, Branning followed on the 27th of June by writing, "Well, look, it's someone who knows you through the members club, but I always promise never to pass on those details because this person has worked for me in the past." Basically, he said you were an open-minded guy who is always looking for ways to make more pounds, which sounded perfect to me. I do a whole range of modeling and that sort of work which I'd like to see if you might be up for. The work turned out to be the creation of adult films made consensually between the man and a stream of individuals whose physical type Branning would dictate, with the man then locating corresponding candidates on the same-sex dating apps, Gaydar and Grindr. Once located, Branning sent handheld digital cameras to the man by motorbike courier, which were then collected in the same way once the films were made, and followed often some weeks later by a delivery of cash. Wootton was then TV editor at the now-defunct News of the World. "At that time, I needed money," the victim said. "It was an attractive offer. The courier would come with a video camera he would supply. I would make footage with it and send it back with a courier arranged by Branning. There'd never be money until weeks later. I would be thinking he had stitched me up. Ultimately, money would be delivered by courier sweaty wads of 20s, basically." Before setting the target to work, Branning gave him a list of highly personal questions, making invasive inquiries about his sexuality and finances, along with a menu of photographic requirements. "I know it sounds full-on, but as I say, it's completely standard," wrote Branning on the 7th of July 2008, before making directions for a series of graphic poses, along with the question, "Have you ever slept with a celebrity?" To which the victim said no. There are consequences. In his journalistic career, Dan Wootton has revealed a number of men as gay or bisexual, including Duncan James from the band Blue and a star of the BBC reality show The Apprentice. In November 2014, The Sun's Bizarre column, which Wootton edited at the time, even launched a so-called bi-bus testing his theory that most of us are at least a little bit bisexual, particularly in the world of celebrity. In a further email on the 29th of July 2008, Branning gave the man instructions on how to persuade targets to agree to be filmed. Branning wrote, "You make it a really horny idea with whoever you're seeing. All you need to say is, "I'd love you to film me as you blanked me." It works with all guys. Trust me. Anyway, just keep me informed with your progress. Giving his account of events to Byline Times, the man said, "I wish I had never responded to the first email, but I did. Nowadays, people do OnlyFans, a direct access subscription pornography site, and I think it was the same kind of thing back in those days. It all seemed quite innocent, and I thought I'm not hurting anybody. Then it escalated. It got heavier once I did give some content over. The guys I was meeting were up for being filmed on camera. It was consenting." Branning's pretext for applying pressure to the victim was to say that he was working on behalf of a demanding third party who seemingly had intimate knowledge of the victim's partner and their movements as a couple. In fact, the victim had been introduced to Wootton by the victim's partner in the early stages of their relationship, and the partner also worked for News UK. The victim said, "I always felt that Dan Wootton had a strange obsession with my ex 100%, and it was weird. And I was always saying to my ex-partner that guy is massively in love with you and is obsessed with you. And when I came into the relationship, you could tell that there was this jealous aspect from Wootton. It was so obvious." Branning's knowledge of details about the victim's private life soon unnerved him. "It was odd. Say I was going on a holiday with my partner, then messages would get more intense and requests would get more and more common," he told Byline Times. "It just ramped up, and I was like, well, God, this guy knows too much about me. That was the scary thing, and it was just frightening, really. I couldn't get away. Anywhere I was, I felt that I was under scrutiny in some way, shape, or form. And you lose trust with a lot of people that you know because you start thinking, well, it's got to be somebody feeding information to who I thought was a genuine person. I had no idea." Things started to come to a head when Branning told the victim to make a film with his partner, who, when asked, said he did not want to make one consensually. The victim said, "It started with, 'Do you know this guy?' I told him I was not going to do this. But the pressure was mounting." He went on, "I said it's not going to happen. He's not interested. It will be difficult to obtain what you want. But then I was told to just take some discreet pictures if you can." When he refused, Branning became ruthless. The man said, "Branning said if you don't get this footage, then there are consequences, and you don't want your employer to find out, or your friends and family to know what you've been doing." He continued, "No one wants their mom and dad to see you blanking someone, and that's what it was. Well, if you don't, your family and your friends and your colleagues and your employers are going to see what you've been doing. You know, that was the heaviest part of it. I did try to just ignore that and tell him to blank off basically, but then it just got more intense. You really don't know the damage caused." After Branning threatened the partner, offered them money, and crucially, the promise to make it the final demand of them, he reluctantly agreed to secretly make the video, which Alex Truby would later find before confronting Wootton, who Mr. Truby said made a tearful confession to being Branning. The man said, "It was a barrage of pressure to get this or otherwise your cover will be blown. In the end, I was like, blank it, I will just do it." Asked if he was blackmailed into it, the then ex-partner said yes. He added, "The guilt and the shame of actually doing what I've done to somebody that I was in a relationship with, that's the thing that to this day makes me feel sick, because there's consequences to that. I still can't forgive myself for doing that to somebody else." The strain it put on the relationship began to take a toll, and it foundered and failed after Branning made good on his threat to expose the victim's work for him by sending an edit of the worst bits to his partner. He said it was well edited. It was just a montage of me and things that I'd sent out. I saw it was true that this guy knows how to get a hold of people that are very, very close to me. In an email sent to Branning on the 30th of May 2011, the victim said, "A video of me was sent to my partner with footage of every person I'd been with and sent to you. You promised that wouldn't happen. You really don't know the damage caused." To which Branning replied, "Must have been the other guy because he was getting really annoyed you couldn't get any footage with the partner who I think he knows." What followed was a campaign apparently designed to chase the ex out of town and ensure his future silence. He said, And then it was harassment. It was horrendous. I left London to get away from it all. I changed my phone number, blocked all of these Martin Branning email addresses that come in, but he still managed to get hold of me up until 2018 when it all stopped. No denial of link to Branning. The victim only became aware of the connection between Branning and Dan Wootton after Byline Times unmasked him as a serial catfish who has used various online identities to trick and bribe scores of men into revealing compromising sexual material. This newspaper revealed how the 40-year-old broadcaster and self-styled voice against woke culture, whose show Dan Wootton Tonight is the biggest ratings winner on the UK's fourth most watched news channel, targeted journalistic colleagues, friends, and members of the public for at least 10 years, offering sums of up to £30,000 tax-free to his targets, many of whom were heterosexual men. While this newspaper has repeatedly asked representatives for Wootton to confirm or deny whether the presenter was or is connected to Branning, it has not received a response. Wootton has said he denies any allegations of criminality. The man said he never clapped eyes on Dan Wootton again since their first meeting, until I saw him once at another members club and he was like, "Hi, how are you?" And I just told him to blank off, basically. I had no idea. I just didn't like him as a person. I had no idea he was the person who was posing as Branning. Last week, in response to Byline Times' investigation on his GB News show, the presenter railed against supposed dark forces seeking to cancel him with a smear campaign. Of Alex Truby, he said, "He has created an untrue story about me and appears to be working with an organization who are intent on closing down this channel." But he then added, "I, like all fallible human beings, have made errors of judgment in the past, but the criminal allegations being made against me are simply untrue." Declining to take the opportunity to deny being or being connected to Branning, he continued, "I mean, who doesn't have regrets? Should I be cancelled for them many years later? Or do you accept that I have learned and changed?" A spokesman for News UK, which following Byline Times stories, last week launched an investigation appointing external counsel to oversee it in moves not seen since the phone hacking scandal of 2011, said, "We are looking into the allegations made in recent days. We are not able to make any further comment at this stage. The allegations in this article have been put to representatives of Dan Wootton, and this newspaper has not received a response. But Byline Times will update this article if it does."
Okay, so there you have it. This is what DW has been accused of. That is the latest from the Byline Investigates. That's part 3. There's also the part 2, which I uploaded as a separate video, and I'll probably do this one later. Well, not probably. I'm pretty sure I will. So if you don't catch it here, then you can either rewind it from here or wait for the new upload. But yeah, so that was the article that came out about 2 hours ago. Let me see. Apparently, there's more victims coming forward to provide additional info to Byline, so stay tuned. Yeah, Light Side of the Moon, that's exactly what they said, is that there were likely to be, that they have other people. This is part 3 in this series, but it's not the end of the story. Lane Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Monday to you. I'm going to go and take a look at that. And okay, let me see what they said about that, because they did say that there was more to come, but okay. So at the end of the article, let me see here. No, it was actually on their Twitter. It was on their Twitter. Let me see. Uh, okay. Yeah, I don't see it right now, but they did mention on their Twitter that there was more to come. So I'll keep them at their word. Thank you again, Elaine Parker. And Ulibi, indeed, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right, let me see here. Okay, Lights Out of the Moons. Oh, that's for someone else. Sorry about that. Let me scroll back a little bit. Marshar says, darn, Dan Wootton has been playing a very dangerous, evil game for years, allegedly. His time of comeuppance is here. Definitely. Definitely. Allegedly and definitely. People are associated with this man unknowingly who is and what he does, knowing what he is and what he does. Those are defending him who have their karma coming and knocking down their door as well, one by one. Royal family, watch out. Thank you so much for that, Lori. Okay, and Black Queen says, Baron, please find the parody of Megan Hater Hotline. Parody is hilarious. I've seen that one. I don't know that I can share it, but I have seen it. Yeah, I don't know that I can share that one. So, but I have seen it, and it is funny. What Black Queen is talking about, there's a parody. Hello, I guess it was called the Megan Haters Hotline or something like that. That is hilarious. So if I cannot share it, at the very least, I will put a link to it. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a must because it is funny. Thank you so much for that, Black Queen. Let's see. And Light Side. Oh, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching today. And Rick, thank you for the super sticker. I sound like one of those old fashioned elevators, right? Are you being served? But yeah, it I was listening to Spaces before I came on. Oh, V Bram, thank you for 3 months membership. Thank goodness I got another screen open. I would have missed that. Um, it is heavy, and 10 years. So let me make sure I got the math right. The byline is alleging that this has gone on for 10 years and that they've known about it and have been investigating for 3 years. 3 years. Now, as I was listening to Spaces, they were saying that obviously he has the goods on some very powerful people. And the speculation is, not including the material that was found behind the washing machine or dryer or whatever, that there's likely more. Well, given a 10-year period, but if this is true, the methodical way in which this happened, it's enough to make your hair stand up. But there are people that, not to say that he's one of them, but this is what's being alleged. But there are people who are just, okay, let me tell you the story. So there was, I can't remember which town he lived in, but there was, I believe he was an expat from China, or his family was very wealthy. I know he was from Asia, and they sent him to the UK as a student. After he got his degree, he stayed in school and got the next and the next and the next degree. And being so far away from his family, he had a dual life, I would say probably as far away as the accused is from New Zealand. He had a dual life that was so far removed from the family values which he had grown up with. And some of you may be familiar with the story. It kind of reads a lot like this, where there was images that not only he kept as souvenirs, but that he shared with other people, his friends. Like, oh, look at what I got. Look at what I got. I got this. I got that. And anyway, it sounds so much like this. And it went on for a long time, years. And there was the one who got away, who went to the police. And this person had actually beat him senseless. And when the police saw how bad he looked in comparison to the one that got away, he almost went to jail. But when they began to investigate this guy, they found so much stuff. It had gone on for years. Again, he had gotten the degree that he was there to receive, and he continued to stay for years, because from this little almost tenement apartment, he was doing all kind of stuff. They had surveillance evidence to show him out and about at work. So these things do happen. Not to say, of course, that is what's happening here, but yeah, it's a if this really hits the airways in the way that we all hope, if this becomes even bigger a story, and I suspect people are going to be holding their breath after this third installment. All I have to say is that Byline is very brave to do this. V. Brem, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Let me see. Carolyn Till says, if it's been going on that long, I cannot see can't see anything going to happen. Keep thinking Kate and William are helping him. Well, I wouldn't assume that they are going to get their hands dirty with this stuff, but I believe that in terms of the leaks from the palace and such, they're not going to try to save this guy unless it involves if one of these revelations involves Kensington Palace, then of course they're going to. Cynthia Ashton says, hi, Baron, all squaddies. It seems as though Dan Wootton has been squandering all his mercies. Therefore, should we change his name to Wonton Wootton? I don't know what to say, but Lord have mercy on us all. Let me see. And Teresa McDougall, thank you so much for 3 years. I'm sorry, 3 months rather, 3 months membership. Let me see. But it's almost like Florida. Storms come and go fast in Florida. So let's hope this storm with Dan Wootton is sustaining. I hope it is. But yeah, let's hope this storm is sustaining. We needed to cleanse to cleanse the population of this kind of stuff. Yes, it does look like he's about to let out an F-bomb. Let me see here. Beverly McCaskill says, Baron, yes, they are brave, and I do think that they have strong proof to back it up. They, if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but aren't a couple of the people at the byline, aren't they some of the ones that used to do that kind of work? and that they know how to infiltrate organizations. They know how to get into people's electronic stuff, and you know what I'm saying? Aren't they adapted all that kind of stuff? So I would think that they could just as easily turn their powers against someone that, you know, in all likelihood, either used to hire people like them or was someone like them. So I'm going to just say they know how to do stuff. So if they need to come after someone, they know how to do some digging. They know how to do some digging. So I don't doubt that they have some, uh, you know, viable information. But whether or not we're going to see the results that we're hoping, who knows what it'll yield. Lori says, knowing what we know about Dan, the way he does business as reported in these investigations, in this investigation, the Williams pegging story could only come from Dan, allegedly. This is my personal deduction and opinion. Yeah, that is a possibility. That is a possibility. And that the Rolling Stone magazine even ran an article about it. So I noticed that earlier today, as I was waiting for the article to come out, that there were a few other like YouTube channels that definitely are. I don't know that they've ever spoken about the Sussexes, but some of them seem to have it in, like the one guy I told you who definitely is a Johnny Depp fan. He seemed to have it in for Dan Wootton because of the way Dan Wootton spoke about Johnny Depp. And so he's made some enemies. Most of them have to do with Narnia Island, but then there are some that are not part of that just because he has offended other people over time. Well, let's see what happens. um, okay, I'll take a look at that in just a second. Let me see. Oh, thank you so much for that, Black Queen. Yes, please thumbs up if you just entered the live chat. Tash Max says Church Nelly or Knopf use hidden cameras for W with allegedly for pegging. Yeah. Tash Mac, I've wondered about that. And if you're not picking up on what we're putting down, apparently Knopf spent some time in the same university as Wootton. We don't know that they ever have known each other, but I do believe they were both there at the same time. And they have been very careful not to ever have been photographed together. As far as I know, they have not been photographed together while in the UK or any place else. If there are photos, they are not public, or maybe they are, and no one has ever seen them together. So we don't know what their relationship is, but people have been alleging that there is always that conflict of interest where you have an old school chum who works in the royal household, and you have this rogue reporter that is a big gossip monger, and that a lot of the leaks, like for instance, we still have not figured out, well, how did Dan Wootton know that the Sussexes were negotiating leaving the royal family or leaving royal duty? He's never said. And of course, Jason Knopf doesn't speak about it. So again, there's just that very uncomfortably close, possibly close relationship between the two. But you've never seen them photographed together, at least I haven't, and you definitely haven't heard one mention the other, meaning, of course, Dan Wootton. I don't know that I've ever heard Jason Knopf's voice before, But yeah, so as they say, the calls are coming from inside the house. Well, it seems like there's a good chance, and I've always kind of made that assumption, but there's no proof of it. Okay, Dan Wooten is a hot mess, and the clock is ticking. People with nothing to lose will continue coming out. Yeah, um, people with nothing to lose. People, you know, the big fear that I heard on the spaces, and I guess you don't have to be on one of the spaces. By the way, thank you, Sussex Team Warrior. Is that people will be paid off. And so when they asked an outside law firm to look into this, are they asking so that they can get to these people before anybody else can get to these people? And, do whatever it takes to make this go away without the GB News or anybody else getting their hands dirty. That is what people are wondering. But then again, because Dan Wooten has started a defense fund, he may very well be on his own. He may not have the aid and assistance of the studio. He may very well be on his own. Yep. So it's kind of hard to tell. Okay. Let's see. Church Nelly says, doesn't the Meghan haters see a pattern here? All those that attack her, karma is bee slapping the hell out of them. Go karma. And VS says they should at least be exact number of how many NDA agreements and settlements were made. Catch and kill. Those NDAs are a very powerful thing. Okay. A tool for the rich and famous. Well, expect Dan Wooten to be presented with an MBE pretty soon from the new Prince of Wales. I would not be surprised. I think that the royal family is kind of afraid of him. I think the royal family is kind of afraid of Dan Wooten, and they should be, because he is a bit of a loose cannon. He said some disparaging things about Prince Charles not being prepared and not likely to make a good king. And then, of course, he changed his tune the closer it got to the coronation. So I think he's kind of, as they say, drunk with power, and he gets a kick out of making people nervous and seeing how much he can control people, how he can make them dance to his music. I think he gets a kick out of that. So until we know otherwise, I'm willing to believe that the royals would be a bit nervous to cross him. I think they would be afraid that in the 11th hour, should something happen, they wouldn't be able to control him. I think he gets a kick out of the power that he has. Let's see, this self-funding via begging for cash is just typical of him. It shows devious and manipulating personality. Dan gets to gaslight so broadly due to his platform, which is probably why he won't leave that show until they make him leave, because it gives him a chance to defend himself. He definitely has a chance to defend himself by staying on that show. Let's see. Great point. Barbara Long says, remember everyone, Byline knows the names of all the victims, and Scotland Yard knows what happened, and they're investigating. Scotland Yard does not play. Well, let's hope that that's the case, because there has been the assumption that there's been some corruption where the police are concerned for some time. Um, a lot of people do not trust them, especially when you consider the investigation into Charles and his bags for cash. That didn't go far. And as for the Duke of York, that didn't go far. So they have a long history of cover up. And there's been a lot of people that they should have looked into. And we can, name so many people that have been accused of things like this and they've gotten away with it. And the police will just say, well, we didn't have anything to go on. Well, we didn't see anything. And after that, they just shut it down. It's done in tandem with the media saying that there's no there. Look at the person from this morning. They shut that down really fast. I don't think they investigated anything. They took his word. They took the word of the other party involved, and probably didn't do any type of investigating in terms of electronics, and even presented with a video of the other person in a restaurant in what seemed to be a very questionable situation. They turned a blind eye to it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But he wasn't the king at the time. He was not the king at the time. The thing is, there was no public outcry, Cynthia. Without any public outcry, without enough people crying foul, and of course, the media is going to always be on the side of the royal family until if they lose the media, the royal family loses everything. They will lose everything. But as long as they have the media to parrot their talking points and to be their shield, to be their sword and shield, yeah, of course. But it doesn't matter that that they work in the name of the king or the queen or whoever the sovereign is, until the people demand more. Until the people demand more, nothing is going to happen. Not with the royals, not with these deviants, not with the Brexit, not with the nursing or the rail strikes and such. None of that will make a difference because the people do not demand it. The people don't take to the street. The people vote because of a fear of others. Not everybody, of course, but enough of them vote out of fear that everybody's trying to come and take something from them. I know this very well because I live in the United States, and every presidential election, every congressional and Senate election, every state and county election, you have people that vote against their own interests. And the best way to get them under control is to keep them afraid. That works everywhere. Fear brings people together. Fear brings people together. If you want people on your side, then make them afraid and they'll do whatever you want. And that's exactly how it happens. So until people wake up and aren't afraid, I mean, right here under everybody's nose, they have taken the right to protest away from people in the UK, and nobody said anything. If there was not enough pushback because they think it only affects other people. So there was little or no pushback. Okay, so I'm going to move on to this then. Let me do a little break beat, and we can pick up on that again later if you guys choose to. Okay, so I just found this. I did not know last year that they had a Carolyn Flack Flack stop, live music, dance, and comedy. And you may recognize some of those names that attended. I don't recognize any of them, but well, I think they had it again today because I saw a posting from who's our favorite photographer? Oh gosh. Anyway, I saw a posting from him today saying that he went to an event to celebrate the memory of Carolyn Flack. And I thought it was pretty interesting that the third article came out today on a day when they were, there you go, Misan Harriman. Thank you so much, Lydia. Yes, Misan Harriman, he went to an event to celebrate the life of Carolyn Flack. So how interesting was it that this third and last of the series comes out on a day like today? And, almost as though it was by design, but I'm sure it was just by chance. Let me see. Mishan. Okay. I'm looking for it right now. Yeah, it says 5 hours ago, I have definitely arrived at Flagstock celebrating dear Carolyn Flack. Yeah, they did have the event today. So much love and positivity today in her memory. That is what Misan Harriman posted. Uh-oh. Don't want that music. They'll be done. Took away my monetization. But yeah, if you take a look at what it says here, to honor, in honor of our friend, I didn't find one of these for today, Carolyn Flack, and to raise awareness of mental health. So, of course, they didn't mention the monster who helped make her life miserable, and probably better that they didn't. But it's good to know that she hasn't been forgotten because, as Harry mentioned Carolyn in his book, and you understand exactly what she had been through, and one of the people who made a bad situation even worse, then you could understand why so many people are moved to make sure that she's not forgotten about. So thank goodness for that. Okay. Let's see. Jerry Meta says, also, when you make everything very expensive, heating, food, etc., people don't have the energy to engage in other things and realize what is going on. They're concentrating on surviving. That is so true. That is so true. Not everybody can, who got time to take off from work so that they can go and protest? With people working 2 and 3 jobs, if you have an off day, the last thing you want to do is go to war when you can stay home and try to stay warm or whatever. So I totally get that. Let's see. Lane Parker says we are not a free country. And that is really heartbreaking because, like I said, I watched that video about poverty in the UK, and it was sad to see. I mean, I don't know if there was any types of subsidies in the UK like we had with our what do you call it, the pandemic relief, but it was like a big reset here in the US. I mean, there a lot of people called it the national reset because for the first time, people who had worked so much actually had money and didn't have to worry about being homeless, you know? And I don't know how many other governments around the world had a similar subsidy. And yes, there were a lot of people that abused it. But for some people, it was the first time that they had money in the bank in years, in years. And even if I got no part of it, I would be glad that someone else did. I would be so glad that someone else had a chance to put their feet up and watch Netflix. Because the way things work nowadays, everybody works a lot. Everybody. Um, every company, it seems like what they want to do is to get the most out of you for the very least. And, in the Western world, we are some of the most productive people, and we have so little time off. I know in the US, some people can work a few years before they qualify for a 2 week vacation. So, you know, I hope everybody was able to take some advantage from that. And for those that couldn't, my heart goes out. But working 2 and 3 jobs just to pay rent and to keep the heat on, we shouldn't be going through that in this so-called modern world. It should not be happening. And it just goes to show how greedy governments and real estate and fuel companies and such, it just goes to show how greedy they are. And they get away with it because people are not pushing back. Nobody is giving them the proper pushback. So, the very emboldened Dan Wootton, I forgot I had this a little bit out of order. This was his part of his lineup today. There were others, but I'm only going to tell you about this. I'm not going to play a soundbite. But do you see the guy in the plaid shirt? See the guy in the plaid shirt? Oh my God, what is his name? I forgot his name just that fast. Is it Peter Thatchell? Peter Thatchell, I think is his name. Let me take a look here. I know I just had it. Let me see. His name is oh my goodness. How did I forget his name? I think it's Peter Thatchell. I think it's Thatchell, right? Anyway, he actually pushed back against Dan Wootton. Dan Wootton was trying to make this big thing about how the uh, tour, the royal tour, the what do we call it? The Caribbean tour. That the Caribbean tour, that it flopped because of Meghan and Harry. Um, Dan Wootton had this assertion. He tried to convince people that the Sussexes wanted it to happen. The Sussexes may, and didn't I just say this yesterday? Didn't I just say this yesterday? That it wasn't Harry and Meghan that made those two dummies get in the back of that Range Rover. Harry and Meghan did not tell them to dress like Philip and Elizabeth 2.0 and go riding around in a military uniform while she's wearing this lace dress like the mother of the bride. Nobody told them to do that. They chose to do that themselves. They did that to themselves. They didn't put any forethought into it. They just did it. And it backfired epically. And the Peter guy was trying to tell them, I mean, he told Dan Wootton, he was shaking his head no. He said it wasn't Meghan and Harry. They did that to themselves. And of course, they tried to talk over him and they tried to gaslight people. They tried to gaslight him. I don't know why that would work because this guy is like a professional protester, but it just wasn't working. It was not working. He said no, they did that to themselves. It had, and that he said that the Commonwealth countries, he did not let Dan get away with it. He said the Commonwealth countries had already said that they were considering leaving the Commonwealth. I'm not leaving the Commonwealth, but giving up the Charles's head of state. They were just waiting for the Queen to die. That has been a common thread. Canada, we're waiting for the Queen to die. Australia, we're waiting for the Queen to die. And of course, you name it in the Caribbean, we're just waiting for the Queen to die. I've heard that for years. We're just waiting for the Queen to die. And so Dan Wootton wants to try to gaslight all of the world to believe that Harry and Meghan sabotaged their trip to the Caribbean because of the Oprah interview. And that's what Dan said. But the Oprah interview, it had nothing to do with Oprah's interview. People were sick of him anyway. You hear me? Sick! They were sick of him. You hear me? Sick! Sick of them. All of them. So, so it was a nice try, but it didn't work. I don't know why he invited this guy on the show except to try to make himself look fair and balanced, but um, he wasn't letting him get away with it. And of course, that forehead with that little sprig of hair at the top, you you know who he is. That's that guy, Gardner, whatever his name is. I want you to take notice of the fact: does his head take up the entire frame, or what? He's probably sitting back just as far as everybody else. I am amazed at how wide his face is. He has a lot of face. He has a lot of face. You could take everybody's hairline and combine it with his, and he would still. he, he looks like a circus freak. What is that? What is that? Is the circus in town? I thought it was in bad taste to have things like that on display. You know, back in the old days, people used to pay money to look at something like that. The world's oldest infant, the world's oldest toddler, except for him being so large. If you put him in a diaper and a t-shirt and have him walk along the shoulder of the highway, I'm pretty sure at least one person would stop and pull over and call the police and say, yes, there's this gigantic toddler walking along the. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the human Chucky doll. Yes, the human Chucky doll on the GB News. Yeah, I think that it is politically incorrect for them to have a sideshow act on television like that. I think it is quite politically incorrect. But what a little monster that is. The seed of Chucky. Oh, man. Monster. Okay, so before we get too far off of things, there's one, two, three, the three articles in order of release: the 17th, the 20th, and the 24th. That is all three. So we'll just have to wait and see what they have come up next. But it took them all day to drop this article. So I suppose they may have been with their lawyers going over it again and again. But eventually they dropped the article and you heard it. And that was that. So let's keep our fingers crossed. A monster. Look, that little monster. Okay, let me take myself out the corner there. There we go. So, in other news, Kate and William block off summer of priorities. I'm sorry, block off summer to prioritize George, Charlotte, and Louis. I don't know why they act like this is a surprise that they have decided to close out their diary for the summer. Y'all listen, I was surprised, probably more surprised than anyone, that these two were going to do that much work. I was surprised. I told y'all like 2 months ago, I said, don't worry, give it a couple of weeks and we ain't going to see them for the rest of the summer. Well, okay, I was wrong. It's been about 2 months of this nonsense. Let me see, when was the coronation? Because they started doing a lot of work before the coronation. And then even after the coronation, I thought, okay, coronation's over. We're not going to see them for the summer, right? Well, I was wrong, because here we are almost 2 months into this campaign of work, and they have decided, okay, close the book. We're out of here. So apparently they are headed to Scotland, and then off to the Isle of Mystique. So Prince William and Kate blocked off much of the summer to be with their kids, who are their priority, a royal source said. Or should I say, what they leaked from Kensington Palace said. The Waleses are set to spend time with their children, including trips to Balmoral in Scotland and Mystique, a private island in the Caribbean, during a 6-week break. Okay, so I was wrong about the timing, but I told y'all it was not going to last long. It's summer, and they got places to go and people to see. And William has a garden to tend to. They out of there. They are out of there. And they're just using the kids as an excuse to take time off. It was not going to last long. They are not in it for the long haul. Even the Queen took the summer off. Do you think that they would do anything less? Kate and William block off summer to prioritize George, Charlotte, and Louis. The Welleses plan to spend the school holiday with their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, who are their priority, and they have blocked off time from their work calendar. Of course they have. This is no surprise. Black Queen says they're not raising these kids, so they have to think like they care. I know. I mean, this is all so convenient. And of course, that big liar right there, a royal expert, Jeannie Bond, said Queen Elizabeth would have liked the way that the Welleses are bringing up their kids. Isn't this the same person, Jeannie Bond? Isn't that the same person who swears up and down that she had a conversation with Princess Diana, where Princess Diana said, "Oh, Princess Diana thought that what's that monster's name? Oh, thought that Camilla deserved to be in the position that she's in, because after all, she's put in the work, and she's gonna get exactly what she wants on Saturday." Remember that video where I had the storm? Well, that was Jeannie Bond's famous last words. So Jeannie Bond has I don't know why they don't have like one of those communicating with the dead type of situations for her, because she has conversations with the Queen. She's had conversations with Princess Diana. She probably even had a little conversation with Philip one day. She talks to a lot of people that aren't here to defend themselves. She just makes up stuff. So now she's speaking for the Queen, because she had lengthy conversations with the Queen before she died, with the assertion that one of these days, William and Kate are going to take off and they're going to go to Mystique, the same place. Speaking of Mystique, you guys know that's where Margaret, Princess Margaret, used to go down there to get her groove on. Yeah. They should call it the Margaret Island instead of Mystique Island, but the Island of Mystique, that is where she used to go. So I don't know if they still have that house. Maybe that house is still in the family, maybe not. But the royals love to go to Mystique to get their groove on. So who knows? Maybe Jeannie Bond will meet them there and tell them what else the Queen said. Janet Lavalley, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you, as always, for watching Royal Sussex. Yeah, Jeannie Bond has a unique ability to speak to dead people. She knows exactly what they meant to tell us more than their own family does. So that's a handy tool, especially when you are a royal reporter. But then again, don't they all do that? Don't they all do that? Let's see here. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. I was trying to see if I had that one handy. I don't remember the title of that video with her in it. I know it was a coronation video. Here I go again looking for a video. I know it was a coronation video. Aha, there it is. There it is. Okay, listen to the lie.
Go to the beach, do something else. You have a choice. A lot of people are going to enjoy it. And I would just say about Camilla that I sat with Diana in her drawing room and talked about Camilla. And Camilla, in Diana's view, had been loyal, discreet, and deserved some form of recognition. Well, she's going to get it on Saturday. Well, she's going to get it on Saturday. Well, she's going to get it on Saturday. Well, she's going to get it on Saturday.
Well, she's going to get it on Saturday. Well, she's going to get it on Saturday. She sure did. She sure did. Oh, man. So, yes, you guys, that's Jeannie Bond. I knew I had that video somewhere handy. But, yeah, she just makes up stuff. She actually sat in the drawing room with Diana and had a conversation about Camilla and the coronation. You see, not only does she communicate with the dead, but she could see the future. She had enough sense that day to say to Diana, you know, Diana, what do you think about Camilla going to the coronation? Oh, well, she deserves it. And she held on to that conversation all those years. Get the heck out of here. All right, so is William, okay, wait, let me get this right. Is William, the royal fans' favorite? No wonder Prince of Wales is growing in confidence and increasingly willing to carry out royal duties alone. Man, you over 40 years old, you just now got it together? You over 40 years old, you have been born into a life of service and duty. You are the future king. Do you mean to tell me at age 40, you have just finally gotten up the confidence to figure out how to do this without that little puppet by your side? Really? You see, when they try to big them up, when they try to speak to make them seem more important, I'm telling you, they do them no favor. Please don't ever tell anybody that a 40-year-old man in that position has finally gotten his confidence. He's finally gotten his confidence? Right. I guess if he doesn't have Harry to pick on, then he doesn't have any confidence. The only time he can feel confident is when he has somebody that just wants to be a brother and love him, and he could use that love against them and bully them around and belittle them, then of course he's confident. But when he doesn't have Harry, when he doesn't have that mannequin, then I guess by himself he doesn't have the confidence. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been out and doing stuff by himself. It's not like there haven't been crowds of people pouring out to see him, to celebrate him, right? I mean, as a good example, take a look at this here. Here's William with all the adoring fans. Look Look at all them people.
Yeah, I've been visiting around today. I've been in Belfast this morning.
Look at all them people show up to celebrate William, to adore him, to bask in his glow. All of those people who came out to see William. So, of course, he has confidence. And do you like the picture? See how he's got all the young people around him? They're trying to make it sound like young people just can't get enough of William. Oh, gosh, y'all hear William's going to be down the street? Yes, we better hurry up and get our places before it's all taken. Yes, we got to get there very fast because there won't be
Yeah, I've
room.
been visiting around today. I've been in Belfast this morning.
Did I just see a dog take a poop in the background? I noticed that he's never worn a kilt before. He's in Scotland. He's not wearing a kilt. That should go over big. Okay, so right here it says, why Kate's ready to fly solo. Dan Wootton reveals how William has backed his wife to make more Diana-style appearances on her own, even though he knows he'll be left in the shade. He's always in the shade. That's nothing new. Kate will be the most publicly prominent female in the royal family under new strategy. She'll be making semi-regular appearances at home and abroad without William. She made one trip abroad without William, and it was a disaster because the Dutch media forgot to airbrush her photos. So I wouldn't say that was a triumph. Most people didn't know she was there, and other people didn't know why she was there. Duchess will also step up to do more solo engagements when couple go on tour. Okay, so when they went to Boston, she went to Harvard just so that she could tell people she went to Harvard. She had that empty binder with an unused pen so that she can hold it close to her empty head and pretend like she actually knew what everybody was talking about. She was only there to make it seem like she knew something about early years. I don't know what it is. Y'all don't know what it is, and she don't know either. We are still trying to figure out what is the early years. I don't know. Does anybody know what the early years is? Anybody? See what I mean? Nobody knows what the early years is. Okay, so moving on here. If you take a look at this, you can see how Kate Middleton and Prince William's polo kiss compares to Diana and King Charles. Again, how is this helpful? This does not help them. This hurts them because it shows people the extreme disconnect. That's not a kiss. That is a swerve. That's not a kiss. It's a swerve. That is not a kiss. That is surely a swerve. I'll show you what a kiss is. Here's a kiss. That's the kiss. Now, that was a kiss. That is a kiss. This right here, well, that's history repeating. Valerie Sedeno, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Monday or early Tuesday to you. Thank you very much. So, yes, that's what I mean. Poor Will and Kate. They just can't ever get it right, can they? By the way, you guys, take notice. I have just pinned a link to the top of the chat. That is for Hello, Ivy here. Sussex Global UK. If you are not already subscribed, please make sure you do to this yet again Sussex friendly space. In the UK, a disaster no one wants to talk about. What could that be, pray tell? The disaster no one wants to talk about? Well, again, that is from one of my favorite papers, the New York Times, who never pulls any punches when it comes to things going on, especially when it has to do with the Tories. There's a growing understanding in Britain that the country vote to quit the European Union, a decisive moment in the international rise of reactionary populism, was a grave era. Just as critics predicted, Brexit has led to inflation, labor shortages, business closures, and travel snafus. It has created supply chain problems that put the future of the British car manufacturing in danger. Brexit has, in many cases, turned travel between the UK, between Europe and the UK into a punishing ordeal. As I've learned recently, spending hours in a chaotic passport control line when taking the train from Paris to London, British musicians are finding it hard to tour in Europe because of the cost of red tape associated with moving both people and equipment across borders, which Elton John called crucifying. According to the UK Office of Budget Responsibility, leaving the EU has shaved 4% off Britain's gross domestic product. The damage of Britain's economy, the OBR's chairman has said, is of the same magnitude as that from the pandemic. All of this pain and hassle has created an anti-Brexit majority in Britain. According to the YouGov poll released this week, 57% of Britons say the country was wrong to vote to leave the EU, and a slight majority want to rejoin it. Even Nigel Farage, the former leader of the far-right UK Independence Party, sometimes known as Mr. Brexit, told the BBC in May, Brexit has failed. So, and of course, when Nigel Farage says Brexit has failed, he said this Brexit has failed. He doesn't think it was wrong to leave. He has finally admitted to failure. This is something that only hurts the poor and working class people. Nigel Farage is not affected by this. Boris Johnson is not affected by this. Only working class and poor people are taking it on the nose. People who depend on national health care, they are the ones that are suffering. People on pensions, people with mortgages are suffering. And the rental market, again, outrageous. It was a huge mistake. It was a huge mistake. And I take no pleasure in the statistics that follow. I don't take any pleasure in that. It is very sad because of the people that are hurt, injured, and in some cases, yes, some people probably have lost their lives because they could not keep their home warm enough. They had to choose food or heat. Very, very sad and very avoidable. And it was what everybody predicted. And there was actually a few videos on the social media that I've seen recently showing the optimism or lies that some people told in the government and the reality of where we are today. So it's really too bad. And by the way, I meant to say this at some point. If you are traveling from the United States to Europe, you have to apply for a visa. Now, it is easy to get. It's done online, but by January the 1st, visa-free travel for United States citizens will be a thing of the past. I think it costs €7, $7, something like. €7 if you're spending euros. If you're paying for it in dollars, I think it's like $7.89 or something like that. But do your research and find out about it. But if you are planning to go to Europe, I think these visas last for like 3 years, and it's up to 90 days per visit. So they are expecting more people next year to go to Europe on vacation. So if you're planning, plan ahead. Don't let this sneak up on you, because a lot of people were in a lot of trouble because they didn't have the passports. They thought it was going to take 6 weeks, and it's been months in some cases, and it has ruined vacations, weddings, and otherwise. So get ahead of this. Don't let it sneak up on you last minute. If you're planning to go to Europe from the U.S., visa-free travel is a thing of the past. Just remember that. I don't know what it is for the UK, but for continental Europe, I think if you're going to the European Union, the visa-free travel is a thing of the past. I don't think it's any more complicated than going to Japan. Probably less complicated, but you have to get a little sticker in your passport for Japan. And so there's going to be something that you'll have to do as an American, as a United States of America citizen. So look out for that. Don't just go to the airport. Make sure you have that in hand. All right. Moving on. Let's go to Suits. I found the graphic. I don't know how I missed this before. Top 10 streaming acquired programs. Number 1, Netflix and Peacock Suits, 136 episodes, or 2,318 million. Is it watch minutes? Yeah, watch minutes. That's how many minutes have been watched. 2,318,000. Well, surely it's more by now, but making Rachel Meghan Markle, aka Meghan the Duchess of Sussex, aka Princess Meghan, making her one of the most watched women on television again. So there you go. It has been a huge success. It was already on Peacock, but since they went over to Netflix, and with the advertising that Netflix has, well, Suits is having a renaissance. So there you go. Very good. No lie, Meghan Markle is the best reason, if not the only reason, to watch Suits, says this person whose name that has been redacted because I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? And so there you go. And as for this other person, you aren't lying. Don't you love that? You aren't lying. So yeah, Meghan is very popular on Netflix right now. And of course, for anyone watching Netflix, which is most of us, well, anyway, Santa Barbara News Press declares bankruptcy. Staff told all jobs eliminated. Good. Good. This newspaper, which seems to be rather right-wing, if you ask me, and just a little bit too tabloidy, well, they thought that they were going to increase their fortunes by using the Sussex name right here. After a tumultuous 22-year ownership of Hope Ranch billionaire Wendy McCaw, the parent company of the Santa Barbara News Press has filed for bankruptcy protection and reportedly is no longer publishing the newspaper anywhere. Good, good. And let me show you just a little reason why some of the people in the Sussex squad are happy. Take a look at this. The Duke and Duchess of Woke or Woe. Seriously? Prince Harry's choice, revenge or making peace with his family. Why is that your business? I thought this was an American publication. Exile in Montecito. History repeats itself with Prince Harry and Meghan. Now, you know what they're trying to say, right? That story was about the similarities, which do not exist, by the way. They're trying to make that comparison with the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. So good riddance. And I hope this newspaper folds. I hope they turn this office into a boutique hotel or condominiums or a women's shelter or something. But good riddance, Santa Barbara News Press. Goodbye. And keep Harry and Meghan's name out your mouth. Anyway, like I was saying, Suits is doing extremely well. And of course, everybody is raving about our Duchess. Now, right here, you can see Anthony crashes the top 5 after clearing the 5 million mark. Well, Nathan Anthony. All right, so he's gotten that. But look at Prince Harry, 9,832,395 pounds. Prince Harry easily tops the earning authors for the first half of 2023 over perennial powerhouse Julia Donaldson and TikTok fave Colleen Hoover. In value terms, Harry Spare is now the third best-selling memoir since Nielsen Bookscan Records began, trailing only Sir Alex Ferguson's My Autobiography and Michelle Obama's Becoming. Go Harry. Go Harry. Well, you know what, guys? I love this because there are more people hearing Harry's truth instead of listening to those monsters that, he left behind in Narnia. So I'm glad for that. It's that time of year. The year again. It's that time of year again. Harry and Meghan's birthday celebration and fundraiser from August 1st to the 15th of September 2023. Be ready to celebrate, raise lots of money for good causes. Now, there's a little caveat I want to share. Make sure that you are not taking solicitations from anyone that is hitting you up asking for cash. I have not put a link yet. I want to make sure I verify the link for the fundraiser. So just stay tuned for that. I want to make sure that I put the right link because last time there was a fundraiser, and I think even before that, there were a lot of flim-flammers out there who decided to try to raise their own funds so that they could, put some money on the light bill or something like that. That ain't cool. They were bearing false witness, lying, flim-flamming, grifting, or whatever. So don't take any solicitations for people. Wait until myself or one of the other trusted content creators, wait until we give you those proper links before you start clicking on stuff and sending money. And of course, if it is a GoFundMe, well, how we are about the GoFundMe. I know last time people helped with the bikes. There are some of us that are still skeptical about that. And there are some who were okay with it. And I applaud anybody who gave out of the goodness of their heart either way. But as a rule, I'm very iffy about the GoFundMe. So in particular, if it's a GoFundMe, make sure that you are not giving money to the wrong people. Okay? So just be careful about that because every time there's a fundraising period, there's also people that start grifting. And, anyway, we don't want that to happen. We don't want that type of crime to pay. Now, take a look here. That is the symbol for Twitter. At least it was. Twitter has changed today. I want to make you aware of this, even if you don't use Twitter. This is Twitter. Twitter has joined the Nation of Islam. Now Twitter is going to be selling bean pie. They're going to have a school lunch program. They are going to have aid for the elderly. That is the new Twitter. They have joined the Nation of Islam. They have given up their colonial name. They have broken away from the shackles of despair, and now Twitter has become part of the Nation of Islam. So I'm just kidding about that. They're not part of the Nation of Islam, but they are not part of the nation. But they changed their symbol for whatever reason. It's very cryptic looking, isn't it? Anna Boyd, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And assalamu alaikum. Yeah, so now oh man, what is going on? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm celebrating with the Sussexes. My birthday is 8/2. Very cool. Very, very cool. We will definitely celebrate, Lynn E. Yes, we will definitely celebrate. Um, 8/2. We will be here for you and we will dance it out. And thank you for letting us know. And thank you for the super sticker, by the way. Oh, wait, it turns out that X symbol has been trademarked by Meta. Then how are they using it? Do you think that now they're part of the Meta universe? What is going on with this? Well, wait until the prophet hears about this. The prophet Musk. Wait until the prophet Musk hears about this. Okay, here's a little history for you. Black-owned South Carolina posted this on Twitter today. It says, or on the Nation today, the first Black Barbie was created by Spartanburg, South Carolina native Kitty Black Perkins, Kitty Black Perkins, in 1980. She was also the first Black designer for Barbie when she was hired at 28. She rose in the company after a decade hiring more Black designers. So this is a woman responsible for the Black Barbie. How about that? Yes, that is the first Black Barbie doll, I suppose. She's Black. She's beautiful. She's dynamic. Okay, well, that ad is right out of the 80s, isn't it? She's Black, she's beautiful, and she's dynamic. I'm surprised it doesn't say she's a bad mother. Hush your mouth. It does kind of have that 70s vibe to it, doesn't it? It is very 70s. And since it was 1980, I guess, no wonder. So, you guys, everything is going pink lately. Have you noticed that? Like, for instance, there is Barbie Biden. Have you guys seen Barbie Biden? That is Barbie Biden. And there is Barbie Obama and Barbie Biden. Yeah, Barbie Barack. If Barbie was going to vote for president, she would have a choice to have voted for Barack or for Joe. So there you go, Barbie Biden. And there's another Barbie Biden. Now Joe Biden's legs are like a little withered piece of chicken wing. Joe Biden's legs are not that big. This is one of those AI creations. So the AI confused Joe Biden's little chicken legs with that of a real adult man in his 80s. But yeah, that's where they really got it wrong. I would say the suit looks okay, but the thighs are just way too chunky. That is how you know this is not real. And somebody Barbied our Duchess. Check that out. That is a Barbie Meghan. Now, of course, the blonde hair, if you've ever wondered how Meghan would look with blonde hair, now you see why she doesn't go blonde, because it's not for her. And then, of course, there's this Barbie makeover for Meghan. It looks it's très realistic, as we say in French. Très realistic. Au revoir. Très realistic. Très magnifique. Realistic. And of course, I showed you this one yesterday. Now, don't think that they left Kitty out of this. Years ago, there was a fake Kate Middleton doll, which saying fake and Kate seems to go together. There was a fake Kate Middleton doll seized due to a cancer risk of all things. A batch of fake Kate Middleton dolls. I wonder if these were distributed by Party Pieces. It was a subsidiary of Party Pieces. The I wonder what slick individual with nefarious means was able to put together a fake Kate doll. I bet you they were already working on that long before Kate went to St. Andrews. All they needed was somebody dumb enough to take them in, somebody stupid enough to fall for it. Anyway, the children's toy dubbed the Princess Catherine doll allegedly has dangerous levels of a compound, DEHP, reports the Daily Star. Fears have been sparked that parents may have already bought the doll. Well, you see, that's where they got it wrong. I'm pretty sure everybody looked at it and was like, nope. Fears have been sparked that parents may have already bought the doll, which is supposed to resemble the Duchess of Cambridge, as children's Christmas presents. According to the Daily Mail, the dolls have flowing black hair, a weird twisted mouth, a one up, one down eyebrow, and oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. It has flowing dark hair and are wearing a gold metallic sequin gown. Not a gold metallic sequin gown. The toxic the toxic compounds which are found in products DEHP and it is used to soften plastic has been prohibited across Europe due to cancer risk. Well, now let's see. It looks like her stiff. It's got that dead eye and it's wearing that flowing sequins gown. Even the doll's gown looked cheap. What is it about? I told y'all, whatever she wears, everything always looks cheap. And so, if you ask me, is this doll a good likeness for Kate? I would have to say yes, because her clothes looks cheap and these doll clothes look cheap. So yes, I think that it is spot on. To soften plastic, I'm sure cosplay loves that compound. Well, VS, now seriously, where in the world would she use any type of product to? Oh, never mind. You're right. Okay. You're right. She has used compounds before. You're right. Never mind. You're right. Never mind. I stand corrected. Let's see. Lex says the doll's hair was actually worn by Kate herself. Yeah, that's it. Instead of wasting all of those extensions, when those extensions became worn, they just merely shipped them off to the doll factory so that they could add them to some of the new products. Whoever, and I do mean whoever the true manufacturer may have been, you never know who's behind stuff like this. But whoever the real manufacturer was, that's it. To save money, they probably had garbage bags full of those extensions that have been used in the past, and they just sew them onto the dolls. Problem solved. Save a little money. Repurpose. Now, let me see. Where was I? Okay. Oh, yeah. Is William the royal fans' favorite? No wonder Prince William. Oh, did I do that already? Yeah. William and increasingly willing to carry out royal duties alone. Yeah, we kind of went over this before. Is William the royal fans' favorite? No wonder the prince, blah, blah, blah. Well, take a look here, you guys. This is William. Now, okay, I can understand if St. Andrew's William was on the menu, but this William of today, well, this is like Willie Yuck. Not Willie Yum, Willie Yuck. Like, look at this over here. What you ordered versus what you get. So you ordered this, but you got that, right? Right. Willie Yuck. That's right, BS. Willie Yuck. And then, of course, if we recall, that was William 2001. Ooh, yeah, that's Willie Yum. But if you fast forward to 2016, I believe Nancy Wilson said it best when she said, "What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours. What was sun and flowers? Take a look at it now. A thing of beauty is a joy until sunrise." Well, I think the sun hasn't stopped shining since 2001. And oh, there's Willie Yum or Yuck. I would say Yuck. That's Willie Yuck. But yeah, this is what they're pining about. They're going on and on about hot Willie. Willie is just hot, right? Bernadine Robinson, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Look at there. Look at there. Look at the way he kind of bares his teeth like, ah. Kind of reminds me of the lady from the islands, right? When you look like a Spencer, but you go to act like a Windsor. Yeah, but you go on to act like a Windsor. So yeah, that's true. You're born a Spencer. You got all that nice Spencer blood, but then eventually all of that Windsor comes oozing out your pores. It starts dragging the tip of your nose down. It starts buttering up your teeth, and your hairline just runs for the hills. Yeah, that is that Windsor gene. So there you have it, guys. In comparison, the Spencer, the more Spencer-blooded Harry compared to the more Windsor-blooded William. Well, as you can see, when it comes to looks and intelligence and personality, Harry wins through and through. And poor William, well, you can't compete where you don't compare, right? There's always going to be winners and losers. Winners and William. Losers. Why do I keep saying William? Winners and losers. There you go. And take a look at this. What's ironic is, as teens, William was the dashing one, and Harry was awkward, the awkward ginger. Boy, has fortunes reversed in every way. Harry is the sexy, stylish, appealing, courageous, confident ginger avenger. William is channeling his dad in a very yuck way, not hot. Oh, man. Don't you love it? I could not believe why was I holding on to these slides? It's like I knew this day was coming. I must have the same powers of perception that Jeannie Bond has. I somehow I can see the future. And with that, you guys, thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday to you, respectfully. Thank you so much for being here. Legs says, why are they trying to push William? Is he trying to date? Woo, that's a good observation. Is he out looking for a date? Just maybe. I mean, there's always someone that's into that, whatever that is. But yeah, maybe they're putting a word out there that he's available. Possibly. Possibly. So let's see. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to everyone for your generous donations. Thank you, everyone that are signed up as members of Royal Sussex. And thank you to each and every subscriber, including the hate watchers, aka derangers. Thank you for being here. Also, what is the other thing I wanted to say? Remember, there is a Sussex Squad community fundraiser coming up. Wait until you hear from a reliable source before you start donating money. I'm not sure exactly what charities they are supporting, but when I find out, I will share it with you as soon as possible. So just hang in there. And let's see, what else is there? Am I forgetting anything? I'm going to look for the last word of the day. Looks like Sherry has sent me a list. Very good. Thank you, Sherry. I got a list. Okay, so thank you, Pauline Bergio, Elaine Parker, Yalibi ND, Black Queen, Light Side of the Moon, Rick, V. Bram, thank you. And also thank you for 3 months membership. Teresa McDougall, 3 months membership. Jeanette Lavalley, thank you. Valerie Sedano, thank you. Anna Boyd, Lynn E., we won't forget your birthday. Legs, thank you so much for the super chats. And Bernadine, thank you so much for the super sticker. All right. Okay, so with that, you guys, I will be looking for the last word. Wow, 2 hours. Guess we had a lot to cover. Again, I'm going to post that video from the beginning. I'm going to post that later so you guys can, if you want to take a look at it again or need to reference it again. And I may even go back and do the first one. I didn't do one for the very first one, so might as well, right? Right. Okay, that way we'll have all 3 volumes. Oh, thank you, Lady T. I appreciate that. Trina Hodges says, peace and blessings. Well, that looks like the last word to me. All right. Thank you very much. And thank you to our queens for those amazing kids. And with that, you guys, I am going to ginger adventure us out of here. Thank you very much.